Saigon Akinola, how you doing? Mick Meanus, the brand new showrunner of Doctor Who. I've been trying to ring you for ages. What? You've been trying to call me? Well, that's good. Right, Saigon, listen. It's not working out. I think it's time we parted company. It's time you stopped composing the music for Doctor Who. No, you are a great composer. It's not you. It's me. Oh, I've got an old friend on the other line. I have to go, Saigon. All the best for the future. Murray Gold, my old mucker. How is it going? Are you doing well? Are you doing any scores? Are you composing any music? So you're not busy at the moment. Good news. You're coming back to Doctor Who. Yes. Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. I'm very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Welcome back to Big Mouth and welcome to my latest Doctor Who episode. I'm really enjoying doing these for you guys and with you guys. I'm a massive Who fan. You're massive Doctor Who fans. We are in this together, whether we agree about things or disagree about things. So how would I run Doctor Who? Well, I've really experienced, from a viewer's perspective, how Russell T Davies did it, Stephen Moffat, and now Christopher Chibnall. Christopher, what am I calling him Christopher anyway? So as from that little gag I did in the intro, you'll know that I want Murray Gold scoring Doctor Who again. So important. His music was amazing. I've spoken about this before, of course. Amazing. When I'm having a shower, when I'm having a shave, I'm listening to his Doctor Who music. And by the time I've finished, I've got ideas in my head for Doctor Who, and I'm standing on Instagram doing a little mini episode, which lasts for about a minute. It's crap, but I have mentioned as well what I would do with Doctor Who before. The crux of the situation is, even when Stephen Moffat was running it, we wasn't doing random police box travel anymore, and that kind of bothers me. I love Doctor Who at its best is when the Doctor thinks he's going one place, but basically, to cut a long story short, if I was running Doctor Who, the TARDIS would be in charge of taking the Doctor to places he needed to be at. Right, so that's how that would happen. It's more random, it's more exciting if the Doctor doesn't know where he's going, and the TARDIS is alive. You know, she really, a lot of the times in Doctor Who history, has decided where her and the Doctor landed, right? So I definitely want to give the TARDIS more of a personality. I want the TARDIS and the Doctor to bicker a lot more as well, because I think that's a fun element. I mean, the Doctor and the TARDIS have been travelling together. They're in this thing together, and they have been for all these years, right? Because the Doctor is now thousands of years old. Anyway, right, so I am a fan of story arcs. I am a fan of Mystery Box, but I wouldn't start with a Mystery Box storyline. As I say, I may have mentioned this before, but my idea would be for the Doctor to meet a woman with a daughter who has got cancer or some kind of illness that's killing her slowly, and the Doctor makes a foolish promise. He promises to find the cure. So what happens is the mother and the daughter become the Doctor's companions, and the whole arc of that season is travelling around the universe trying to find a cure for this incurable cancer. This is a level of cancer that's just come out. This is a new level of cancer. It cannot be cured on Earth. So they're travelling around space and time. So the Doctor's made this promise. He doesn't even know if he can, save this little girl's life. So the whole point of this is, of course, they're travelling through the universe to find a cure for the cancer, but they also get distracted, and the TARDIS goes to different places, and the three of them get to know each other. They become a family. There's no romance, there's no relationship here, but the Doctor does build a bond, especially with the young girl. So he becomes obsessed with trying to find this cure, and he becomes very frustrated within the season. And the finale is all about, will they find a cure or won't they find a cure? A very emotional piece, even if I do say so myself. And I think that would build up my Doctor. My dream would obviously be, and I think most Doctor Who fans' dream would be, to write and produce and showrun and star as the Doctor. Now, of course, that's an impossibility. There were rumours of Peter Capaldi doing that. And I think there were initial talks for Peter Capaldi to carry on as the Doctor and for him to run Doctor Who. Now, that would have been really, really interesting. I mean, especially at his age, it's a lot of work. Look, it isn't a joke being in charge of a show like Doctor Who, producing it, writing it, and starring in it. But, I mean, if anyone could have done it, it would have been Peter. And I would have been interested to see how that went out. So that's always been my fantasy, to be the Doctor. I've always wanted to play the Doctor. I've never really known what kind of Doctor I'd want to play. Of course, as a fan, you're influenced by certain versions of this iconic character. I like Tennant, but I wouldn't copy Tennant because everyone tries to copy Tennant. And as we've seen with Jodie, it sometimes can go terribly wrong. It's best to have in your mind all the Doctors, which is difficult because there's a lot of them, and then come out with something new. I like what Matt Smith did. Matt Smith was really compared to Tom Baker a lot, but he became his own Doctor, but you still saw the other Doctors, especially Baker, and maybe I'm alone there, through Matt Smith. I think Matt Smith's one of my top Doctors, and I did my little count the other day, didn't I? My top 5 favourite Doctors of all time. And so I'm not quite sure, I'm more kind of sure what kind of show I would be doing rather than what type of Doctor. It's the kind of thing you have to find slowly, the longer you play this iconic character. So my first year arc would be about a little girl and her mum. The little girl's dying of cancer, and we would be trying to find a cure around the universe. So it's a very, very small time arc. There's not much thinking to go around in it, but there's a lot of fun to be had. There's a lot of emotion to be had. So what would I do with my second season? I may have mentioned this already, but actually I probably haven't. But I'll tell you what it is. My second season, and I wanted to go a bit darker for my second season. So this is about the Doctor meeting a young woman. Now, what happens is there's some kind of Dalek or Cyberman incursion in the teaser before the opening credits, and the Doctor's trying to stop them. Now, before he can stop these Cybermen or Daleks or whoever they are, right? Who they are is immaterial. They actually do kill a family, but one young girl is hiding under the bed. I don't know, when I say young girl, she could be any age, teenager, a little bit younger. But anyway, right, so what happens is the Doctor fails. He stops them, but he doesn't stop them killing this family. So she lives. So the Doctor finds her under the bed, and he takes her downstairs, and they get to talking. And this girl has got a deep hatred for the Doctor. She blames him for her family's death. But she decides to bide her time, travel with him so she can get her revenge on the Doctor. So as they travel in space and time, they get to know each other. She does for a little bit, but she still wants her revenge. And then a chance encounter with the Master and his companion, and they come up with a plan to trap the Doctor in a Genesis arc. In the Genesis arc. So the whole idea would be that this companion betrays the Doctor. He's in a Genesis arc for the whole... So when the season finishes, he's trapped. And he's in there. And he's going insane. Imagine being trapped in a Genesis arc for all eternity or for such a long time. It would drive the Doctor madder than he or she already is. Obviously, I'm playing the Doctor in my fantasy land, right? This is just fantasy, isn't it? This is just tinfoil stuff. So we can say and do whatever we want. So, yes, so the closed season, the Doctor would be absolutely trapped. And then we come back and we'd have to find a way through it. So that's my plan for my first 2 seasons. If I was running and starring as the Doctor, I think already you've got an emotional thread there, both with the mother and the young girl who's dying of cancer, and then with this young woman who's got this deep hatred towards the Doctor and is only travelling with him to actually get her revenge. I think these are themes that we haven't touched on in Doctor Who before. I think it keeps that beautiful companion-Doctor dynamic, and it makes things interesting, because I think one of my criticisms is of the revival. I think sometimes the relationship between the Doctor and the companion is very samey. Rose set up a new way of doing it in a way. And the problem is, after Rose, there was Martha. It was the kind of same thing. She did fancy the Doctor. The Doctor didn't fancy her back, but it was a pretty samey, young, attractive girl. Then we had Donna. That was really different, and I loved that they made a different companion. And then Amy kind of started off fancying the Doctor, but what Stephen was really doing there is teaching her to appreciate the man in her life. That was Rory. That was a beautiful love story. So in the end, that was quite good. And then you had Clara. That was very, very different. And I did enjoy her as a plot device more than a character. But at times, she was okay. And then you had Bill. Bill was really good. Bill was really different. I enjoyed Bill as well. So I think you've had interesting companions, but it's always kind of the same thing. So I thought, and I mean, I liked the fact that Clara was this mystery. So there was a kind of storyline there with her. Rose was her love for the Doctor. Martha was her unfrequented love for the Doctor. But I think by having companions who are part of a big arc, like what I'm trying to do, is a little bit more interesting to the audience. So you've got this young girl and her mother, and everyone's desperate to get her a cure. There's an emotional entanglement there with the Doctor and his companions, and of course, someone travelling with the Doctor just to get revenge on them is very compelling and very interesting to me. So already they're travelling, they're exploring, they're kind of becoming friends, but there's still this deep hatred towards the Doctor. And because the Doctor's one of those people who can incite either love or hate inside you, and I think he or she is that type of character, because they are a contradiction in terms. They can be selfish. They do drag people along with them just because they don't want to be lonely, which is kind of really selfish, isn't it? So the Doctor's a really flawed character, and my Doctor would certainly be a flawed character. So I'm always interested in moving things along, but I think without doing deep arcs, because we've seen them all before and they're interesting, and maybe in the future I'd look to do them. I don't have any problem with mystery box storytelling. In fact, it excites me. I loved it on Lost. I love what Chibnall's doing. That's an element of what Chibnall's doing I actually like, because it makes things interesting. And in season 11, there was nothing to captivate my interest, and that was the problem with that. But and I love what Moffat did with the mystery box storytelling as well. And RTD with his one-word arcs, that was really intelligent as well, because you could mention the words now and again, but still have to stand alone, random police box travel, which is what I want to do with the random police box travel. I want the TARDIS to arrive in places and the Doctor doesn't actually know where the TARDIS is taking him. So that's my idea for what I would do with Doctor Who. Murray Gold's music, absolutely imperative and important. I don't want mood music. I don't want MacDonald's background mood music. And we've seen that when he's been asked to do big themes, Saban Akinola's done a good job. And I admit that. But I just think Murray Gold is a young John Williams. He's amazing. And, I mean, if Chris Chibnall actually let him go purposely and the tagline that Murray needed a rest wasn't true, then I'm disappointed and I'm disgusted, because there's no one better than Murray Gold. And you should never have let him go. Now, I think we kind of understand why he let him go. And it isn't good, is it? And without going into it too deeply, because that's not what this video is about, I'm disappointed that Murray Gold is not composing this music anymore. And we need to get him back as soon as possible. And if I was running things, that's certainly what I would do. So are we excited? You might be excited when you see this picture. Let me just show it to you. Where are we? Hang on a minute. I've got it here. Not very organised, but I'll show it to you. Christopher Eccleston was at the Gallifrey 1 convention, right? Where are we? Here we are. Yeah, he was at the Gallifrey 1 convention. Now, any Doctor Who fan goes insane when they hear Eccleston's at a convention, because he never used to do them. He was so pissed off with the BBC and Doctor Who after he fell out with them. I won't say after how he was treated, because I don't know the situation. So it took him a long time to have any love for Doctor Who again. And I think he's appreciating that what he did in those 13 episodes and what Russell did with him and what Billy did with him was amazing. It was great. And it's just great to have Chris out and about again, involved with Doctor Who. I'm still hopeful of some big finish and maybe even a reappearance in live action Doctor Who again. So, big episode tonight. It's a massive one, everyone. As you know, I've already seen tonight's episode, and it's massive. The marketing and everything you've seen is so misleading. This is a big episode. This is not an episode of Doctor Who to miss. This is not just another historical filler. This is massive. And I do fear the ratings will be last week's or a little bit less because people think I'm just going to come back for the finales. No, come back tonight because tonight links in to what's going to happen. The Doctor has to make a very earth-shattering situation. And we've seen in the trailers already, so I'm not giving anything away. She says, even I can't always win. Brilliant line, very emotional. This is a great episode. You don't want to miss it. And I'll be here tomorrow to review the latest episode of Doctor Who, so don't miss that. So I'm always here from now on with Doctor Who content all throughout the day. Big Mouth, tell your friends. Let's have a party. Let's always talk about Doctor Who and let's always disagree and debate. We don't have to agree, but just because we don't agree, it doesn't mean we have to hate each other. See you on the other side when you've all seen tonight's episode. I'll be watching it live as well. It'll be a rewatch for me, of course, but I can't wait to be on Twitter at the same time as I'm watching it to see and hear all of your reactions. I'm really excited. There's nothing better than Doctor Who Day. Enjoy.